The average salary for a cloud solutions architect is £80,000 and $130,000. If you're interested in cloud, or perhaps you've worked in cloud computing for a little bit, you've probably heard of the role of a cloud solutions architect and wondered, what exactly do they do? What are they? What skills do you need to be in this role? And what sort of certifications are suitable for a cloud solutions architect? I work as a cloud security engineer, and during my time I've worked alongside several cloud solutions architects, and so I'll be giving a description of what this role entails, what exactly they do. I'll use my experience working alongside them to give you guys a brief overview of what they do and the skills needed to do this role. I've also done some further research to specify what is important to a cloud solutions architect and what they do in their day-to-day roles. So, what is a cloud solutions architect? A cloud solutions architect is responsible for an organization's cloud computing systems. They design and implement cloud solutions for organizations, ensure that these are functioning smoothly with minimal downtime. The cloud solutions architect evaluates the best cloud providers and other technological tools to use. They create the best practices for the organization, and they also work with the IT teams and engineers to ensure that these cloud solutions are being implemented according to the standard that's been set. And based on that definition, you can understand that this role is really important to a company. This role of a cloud solutions architect is one of the most in-demand roles in the cloud computing industry. It's not commonly seen as an entry-level sort of role. You'll rarely find a cloud solutions architect role that is at the entry level or junior level. This is a role that requires a strong technical background already for you to then use that expertise. To be able to design, create, and architect an infrastructure, you would need a strong background in several areas that I'll be mentioning later in this video. It takes a few years of technical experience and having a strong technical background, understanding different areas of tech, and working in other roles before becoming a cloud solutions architect. So now let's cover some of the key responsibilities of a cloud solutions architect to give you guys a better understanding of what their responsibilities are and what they actually do. The first responsibility that I want to mention is the cloud solutions architect is responsible for creating the technical vision for specific cloud solutions. When an organization wants to implement something within the cloud, it's the cloud solution architect's job to create the vision and the strategy of how this is going to be implemented and lead the adoption of this service. Doing this is not a simple task. Creating a technical vision for cloud infrastructure of a company involves complex design that only someone who is well versed and understands different areas of technology can do. Another responsibility to mention is the overseeing of the cloud computing strategy. Once they've designed a strategy for an entire company or for a specific cloud tool, they then have to oversee the strategy and make sure it's being implemented in the way that they've designed it. The third responsibility to mention is working with cloud engineers to ensure that the products are being built correctly. It would be similar to an ordinary architect working with builders to ensure that a building is being built according to the design that the architect has created. The cloud solutions architect is the designer, and the cloud engineers are the ones who build and implement the design that they've been given. So in the cases that I can mention, I've worked alongside cloud solutions architects. I'd have to go to them for a greater understanding of the product, the way it needs to be set up, and what exactly is required from the project at hand. The cloud solutions architect has to be someone who fully understands the technology as well as being able to design how this technology will be implemented and integrated into a company's infrastructure. It is quite a complex role from what I've understood. It involves leadership, designing, and also involves understanding the work that's being done on the ground. It's not like a project manager role where you don't really have to understand the technology. It's not just an engineer role where you have to just do the work and not understand the design and the broader parts of what work you're doing. It is a broad role where you have to understand and combine all of these things. Another responsibility to mention is stakeholder communication. The cloud solutions architect must be able to communicate with the stakeholders involved to help understand the strategy that he or she has built out. Let me break this down a bit. This would involve communicating with senior individuals in a company, those who would not necessarily understand the technology that's being worked on, So the cloud solutions architect would have to speak to these people in a way that they would understand, not speaking technically, using abbreviations and detailed things that a layman wouldn't understand, but using English that is universal and a business person would understand without having to understand technical terms. On the other hand, it also involves speaking to the engineers themselves. But the cloud solutions architect will also have to understand technology and be able to communicate technology in detail. Two sides of the coin. Further responsibility is requirements gathering. The cloud solutions architect will need to gather requirements for the cloud infrastructure or whatever solution is being implemented. They will have to understand what is required for them to be able to build out a suitable design and strategy. Another responsibility which I'll mention is threat modeling. Threat modeling involves understanding all security threats to an application or a project or organization and making rational decisions about these threats in order to mitigate them, and if these threats come to life, to mitigate these threats so they don't have a great impact on the infrastructure or the solution that's being presented. The final responsibility I'll mention for the cloud solutions architect is coordinating testing for whatever's been implemented. As a cloud solutions architect, you'll be leading and overseeing the project from the beginning stages, which is the design, to the very end, which is the testing. It doesn't mean that you'll necessarily be testing yourself, but this role will be overseeing and a part of each of these stages. With all these massive responsibilities which I've mentioned, you can understand why this is such a high-paying role. The cloud solutions architect holds great weight within an organization, and it is a really important role. I've actually thought of going into this role in future in my career. This would take a lot of work as I'm nowhere near there yet. There's a lot that I still need to understand and grow in before I can take on a role such as this. But that's just me. I'm still early in my career and you might be completely different. So let's mention some of the skills needed to get into the role of a cloud solutions architect. The first skill I want to mention is a great understanding of networking. To implement different cloud solutions, you will need to understand how to integrate these with other parts of a company's network. So to create a cloud strategy and design, you'll need to know how to integrate it with whatever else is being used on the network. This would involve a deep understanding of networking in general. Another skill needed is excellent communication skills. To be a cloud solutions architect, you will need to communicate with people who don't understand technology, people who understand technology. You will need to be able to speak to these people in ways that they would understand you. This involves a lot of communication with a lot of different parties. As a cloud solutions architect, we'll need to discuss the design they've created with engineers as well as senior stakeholders in order to help them understand and to help the project and the strategy to run out smoothly. So communication is a massive part of this role. Thirdly, the cloud solutions architect will need to have a great understanding of operating systems. For a company, they'll need to understand the operating system that is being used within the company, whether that's Windows or Macs or even Linux. The cloud solutions architect needs to understand how this operating system works so that they can integrate their cloud solutions to fit the operating system that is being used. Security. As I mentioned threat modeling earlier, there will need to be a great understanding of security threats, how they work. They will need to have a great understanding of cybersecurity in general in order to factor this into the designs they're creating and to follow on with security related issues as the project progresses. As we all know, cybersecurity is a massively important part of every part of technology. And for this role especially, a great understanding of different cybersecurity tools, terms, and technologies is required. And the final skill needed for this role is programming languages. Now, this is not for every cloud solutions architect role, but if this is a role that will be working with certain programming languages and programming tools, then a good understanding of how programming languages function would be required. This won't be for every role because sometimes you'll be working on just security projects or just an infrastructure project, and it perhaps won't involve programming. A project that involves cloud applications or anything to do with software development or DevOps would require the cloud solutions architect to understand the programming language being used to a certain extent. So there are quite a few skills needed to do well and succeed in this role. And the skills that I've mentioned, it's very likely that any cloud solutions architect will be very well versed and have some great experience with all of the skills that I've mentioned. I want to mention a few certifications that would be suitable for the role of a cloud solutions architect. The first one I want to mention is the Microsoft Certified Azure Solutions Architect Expert. This is a 3-star expert level certification that requires some prerequisites, and one of them being the AZ-104, which I've made a few videos on and I've taken myself. Another certification I'll mention is of course the AWS Solutions Architect certification. This is a very popular certification for any solutions architect. AWS is the most popular cloud provider, and this is why this certification is so popular, as it's very likely that if you're working in cloud, a lot of the skills in this certification will be what you need for whatever you're working with. The third one I'll mention is the Google Professional Cloud Architect, and these 3 certifications I've mentioned cover each of the 3 main cloud providers, which, as you know, is Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services or AWS, and GCP, which stands for Google Cloud Platform. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I hope this video has given you a really good understanding of the role of a cloud solutions architect. If you're looking to get into this role, please let me know in the comments below and discuss how you're looking to get into this role. Or if you currently work in a cloud solutions architect role and want to discuss more of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, please drop a comment also and let us know what other things you do as a cloud solutions architect, so that we have a better understanding of your role and the people in the comments can really understand what you get up to on a day-to-day and how to get into that role themselves. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please watch some other videos on this channel, like and subscribe, follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next video.